Double standards from politicians, say it ain't so. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. It was a week ago that Liberal leader Justin Trudeau stood in the building behind me. He stood in Parliament in the Charles Lynch room. This is a room that he gives his weekly post-caucus media availability in. He takes questions from reporters, and somebody asked him about the story that was going around about the City TV reporter, Shauna Hunt, who was accosted by men yelling obscenities, and she took them on, and Trudeau was asked what he thought about it. He actually gave what I think is a thoughtful answer. He gave kudos to Hunt for standing her ground and said he thought that Hydro One did the right thing. Here's what he had to say then.
To congratulate Shauna Hunt for her courageous stand, her courageous sharing of and shaming of these individuals in question. I think Hydro One acted appropriately and properly in demonstrating that there is zero tolerance for the kind of harassment and misogyny that was apparent in that video.
Now, I don't bring this up to criticize Trudeau's reaction to the story. I think he's entirely reasonable in his reaction, but here's where the double standard comes in. It was only a day or so later that a key player for one of his star candidates said something demeaning to women online. A very public figure, someone whose name you know. And Trudeau's been silent on it. I'm talking about Dimitri Soudas, the man that used to be Prime Minister Stephen Harper's Director of Communications, was a longtime Conservative, but jumped over to the Liberals with his fiancée Eve Adams when she decided that, well, she wasn't going to get ahead in the party that caught her cheating on nomination battles. So Trudeau accepted both Adams and Soudas into the Liberal Party. He accepted them into his fold. So last week, Rob Silver, who is a Liberal pundit on various news shows, well, he was talking about a story involving the Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre, who had an ad made on Your Dime and Mine. Silver put out this tweet. Soudas's response? It wasn't to say it was a viral video, but he said, "Do you mean venereal? Jenny would know." Now that's a bit of inside baseball, but let me explain it to you. Pierre Poilievre used to date Jenny Byrne. Who's Jenny Byrne? She is, well, a leader in the Conservative Party. She's going to be running the Conservative Party's campaign in the next election, just like she did in 2011. All three main political parties, the Liberals, the NDP, the Conservatives, they are all having their campaigns run by women. Soudas just took a shot at the campaign manager for the Conservatives, Jenny Byrne, implying venereal disease with her. He also took a shot at a sitting cabinet minister, Pierre Poilievre, in a very unparliamentary way. It's one thing to say that Poilievre is wrong, or he won't answer questions, or there's all kinds of ways to question him. But to throw that in there, that's beneath even Dimitri Soudas, a man who has a lack of judgment beyond most. Trudeau, though, has been silent on this. The reaction on Twitter was pretty fast. Even Glenn McGregor of the Ottawa Citizen asked what was going on. Justin Lane of Vice News questioned what Soudas was doing. Silver, though, who's married to the Liberal campaign manager, Katie Telford, as far as I can tell, he's been silent on this. Trudeau himself has been silent on it. Now, I called out Trudeau and said that if he really believed what he said in that room about Shauna Hunt and about Yobs picking on women, he should be doing something about Soudas. So far, crickets. I don't think that that's the right way to go. If we're going to say that there's no room for this type of locker room talk outside of the locker room, then mean it. Don't just mean it when it's an easy win for you, as in the Shauna Hunt story. Mean it when it's somebody on your side, even if it's somebody that you really don't want to sit next to, like Dimitri Soudas. But he is part of your team now. He is part of the Eve Adams package. And you sat beside Eve Adams. You've described her in stellar terms. It's time for Justin Trudeau to do something about this. So since I've called out Trudeau and he's been silent, I'm going to call out the other media and say it's up to you, when you see Trudeau, when he's speaking, to question him on this. Why isn't he being questioned on this? Why is he being allowed to be silent on it? Why aren't the Liberals standing up for women? Is it because it's a Conservative woman and therefore she doesn't count? I would say the same thing if this was aimed at Katie Telford running the Liberal campaign, or Anne McGrath, who's running the NDP campaign. it just shouldn't be tolerated anymore. We should be calling people out, making them say, I'm sorry, like Elizabeth May did after she made a fool of herself at the Parliamentary Press Gallery dinner. She gave an unequivocal apology. That's the least we should be asking from Soudas. Maybe, given how long this has gone on without an apology, we should be asking for more.